But we originally met, funnily enough, about 5 years ago. Our children were at school together in the same years, and Ailsa was a new parent, and some of the other mums were saying, oh, the new mum joins us from the theatre back. She works in theatre. I was like, oh, I wonder if I know her, because I've worked in theatre back in the day. And they told me what her name was. I thought, oh, that sounds familiar. And it turns out that we had worked on a pantomime together 20 years ago in Cambridge with the delightful Christopher Biggins. So
the excitement of it is that it is going to be the largest piece of public art seen in Tunbridge Wells, free to view.
Hello, my name is Nicole and welcome to this week's episode of The Big Chat. And I'm talking to two creative ladies today. Very exciting. It's a Monday morning we're recording. I'm feeling a bit tender after my weekend, but I'm very excited to be chatting to these ladies. They are Alison and Ailsa from the Tunbridge Wells Puppetry Festival. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you both?
We're frantic, but we're all good, but we're very busy at the moment.
Very busy. So those that are listening that don't know exactly what the Puppetry Festival is, why don't both of you, tell us a bit more about it and how it all started and what's happening at the moment, because it's currently running, isn't it?
Yeah, we've just done a first weekend of events. So we've had 3 sell-out shows this weekend, which was a lovely start.
Brilliant.
But the Puppetry Festival started 4 years ago as an opportunity it's got a very, very good strapline, I think, our festival, which is world-class entertainment for the whole family to enjoy. So we've not got much to live up to. So we've started with a first set of sell-out shows this weekend, and we play until the end of next weekend with a massive variety of events, all world-class, obviously, because that's what we say we do, and we certainly are doing that. But there's events we've got a couple of premieres coming up. We've got events for everybody from babies right up to anybody who wants to come along as an adult. So it's a real mixture, and there's workshops in there as well. I'm sure we'll go through lots of them over this interview, but
absolutely. I mean, so 4 years ago, so where else does this festival take place? Is it, obviously we're blessed to have you here in Tunbridge Wells at the moment, but where did it all start? Whose brainchild was this? How did this all come about?
Well, it was Linda Lewis started it in 2015. It's a biennial festival, so it's every 2 years.
Yeah. And
in the fallow year, what Linda used to do was a community project, so work with a charity and bring puppetry to them. So it wasn't forgotten about at all, and we just add to the, basically for the next festival, just add momentum. So she started it in 2015. And she retired earlier this year and she knew Ailsa, because Ailsa had worked on a previous festival, and whether she would consider taking it on. And Ailsa wrote me in as well, so here we are.
So there you are. So what's your background? Have you always been doing this kind of work then, Ailsa and Alison? What's your background before the festival? How did they discover you?
Well, we worked together. We've worked together now for about 5 years, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
On Hever Festival.
Yeah.
So that is what we do the rest of the time. And to be honest, now anything I take on, I say, well, I'll do it if my friends will do it with me. So,
but we originally met, funnily enough, about 5 years ago. Our children were at school together in the same years, and Ailsa was a new parent, and some of the other mums were saying, oh, the new mum joins us from the theatre back. She works in theatre. I was like, oh, I wonder if I know her, because I've worked in theatre back in the day. And they told me what her name was. I thought, oh, that sounds familiar. And it turns out that we had worked on a pantomime together 20 years ago in Cambridge with the delightful Christopher Biggins. So,
goodness.
And we're still friends.
So we hadn't talked until to Ailsa joined the school, and then I was like, oh, what are you up to? And she said, well, you work with me at Hever, and so here we are.
And I mean, how do you put a puppet festival together? You've got to tell us about some of the what do we call them, acts or shows, or tell us about what's going on at the moment, and then how you kind of put that together, because there's a lot. Obviously, want to talk to you about the moon. I'm all about the moon, so I want to know about that. But everything that you're doing looks absolutely beautiful. So can you give us a run through the kind of things that you've got going on?
Yeah, I mean, it is slightly different this year in the fact that Linda, over the years, had done a lot of international work. So this year we had to think a bit differently because of COVID. So a lot of these performers are local or UK based. So it's lovely that we can do a festival because they've had a hard time too over the last 18 months. So it's really nice that we can work with all UK based companies as well this year. So, Ailsa.
Yeah, I think it's interesting what you say about what do we call all our events this year, because you're right, we've got such a different variety of genres really, because we do workshops in there, we've got performances, obviously, we've got some online film screenings of puppetry work, we've had a competition for students at universities. And then obviously we've got the installation of the moon as well. So there is such a variety of forms of work that we've got coming up. But if we just discuss the first, for instance, this next week coming up before we get as far as next weekend, which is when we've got over 30 of our over 40 events happening next weekend.
Wow.
But that doesn't mean to say what we've got this week isn't, just as important, because we've still got another, what we have had? We'll have had about 10 performances or so before we get there. So on Wednesday, we've got Eli and the Golem, which is by a local theatre company. So we've gone, where we can, we've gone uber local with our artists as well, which is really nice because puppetry is an amazing community. When you say, how do you book it? You talk to one puppeteer and they pass you around to everyone else. So it's very useful, but they all know each other. And it's a lovely big community based. There's pockets across the country where puppeteers tend to sort of congregate almost. It's really interesting. And it's really good for that. So Strange Face Theatre Company are based in Southborough. They've been there for years, and they have always formed part of the festival programme as well, as they should do, being so local. But we've actually got the premiere of their latest piece on Wednesday this week, which is a piece based on the kinder transport, background of the kinder transport and Russell Dean, who runs the theatre company and has produced this piece, he wanted to tie it in with the walk by Little Amal from Turkey to Manchester, which, if anybody doesn't know, is the really stunning 3.5 metre tall puppet, something like that. A little girl who's 9, she's about to be 10 actually, it's her birthday soon, and she is walking the distance in support to highlight the plight of refugees. And she arrives in England, she arrives in Folkestone just after the Puppetry Festival.
2 days after.
Yeah.
Which is a real shame we couldn't tie it in, but we've got the link through Russell because he's taking this Ellie and the Golem.
Yeah, the piece he's premiering with us on Wednesday is going there. And then later on in the same week, Thursday and Friday mornings, we've got shows for little tinies, so sort of 6 months plus, up until school age. So we've got the Dig at the Assembly Hall, and we've also got the Hug at Trinity Theatre. And so they all come before the big weekend where the Moon opens next Friday night.
And I mean, the Moon, how is that going to be? I mean, how is that going to be installed? Because that's going to be it's in the park, isn't it? It's in
Calverley Grounds, and it's going to be quite dramatic. It's going to be a real centrepiece. I mean, it's so high up. It's going to be up 10 metres high, basically. So the Moon itself is 7 metres, 7.5 metres, I think, in diameter.
Yeah. So
to get that high enough off the ground so you can stand underneath it, so it's going to be, we've got a structure, a truss with 4 legs, and it's going to hang in the middle of it, be like suspended on strings, like a puppet.
Absolutely.
And so everybody should be able to see it from the street if they're walking past one of the entrances to Calverley Grounds, or if they get off the train station, they should be able to see it from any part in the park.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We're hoping as well that some people will take photos from their bedroom windows, because there's lots of houses or people staying at Hotel de Vin, all those kind of things. We'll take some photos from above as well, which would be really nice to see.
That would be fabulous. You've got like, you need to get some drones out there.
We need some drones. We'll have some drones as well, definitely.
I know they don't always like it over the parks. I know when we've done the soapbox, they've been a bit like, you've got to be a bit careful around where you drone, haven't you? But I mean, you've got to be able to act them up high. But it looks stunning. So, I mean, how do you choose who can't? Like you say, you've got involved with lots of local. There must be so many good people that you want to support, and different workshops and things. How do you go through that process? How long does that take you to plan? I mean, how long has it been in the planning, this festival? Is it literally you start planning the next one as soon as this one's finished?
Oh yes, definitely. I think the thing for me is that we were concerned about the fact the festival has a great reputation for international work, which is really important. It is lovely, because one of the joys of the Puppetry Festival is, if you come to our events, you will find that you see something you've never seen before. And so, it is a lovely opportunity for that. And obviously, the further afield you go, the more options you have for that. But there is such a lovely selection of work in this country that it's a really lovely opportunity to showcase that, rather than move further afield, really.
You've worked with a couple of the companies at Hever before, haven't we? So, there's a connection there. And, I mean, they would approach us. Some of them are linked to other puppetry festivals, because there's a few that go around the country, and
some of them are people that we've always really wanted to work with as well, which is really nice to get those in as well. So we're really proud of every piece in the programme. It's really great.
A lot of organisation must be involved. I mean, to get everything sort of running smoothly like this, obviously everyone turns up and it's fabulous, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, isn't there?
Spoken like a true promoter. Well said.
As long as it looks good, no one knows what's going on behind the scenes. It's fun, but it is, isn't it? But certainly organising workshops, and like you say, you're in different locations. You're in the Trinity and the Assembly Halls and the park, Calverley Grounds. That's a lot of different places to be. How big's the team that works on this? How big is it's not just you
looking at us, really.
Well, that's impressive. I'm impressed.
We are going to be running around like crazy.
We are.
But we've got a great team of volunteers. There's volunteers at Trinity that are helping us, and then many volunteers that worked on previous festivals, and volunteers that worked at Hever Festival Theatre this year. They're all coming on board. So, I mean, couldn't do it without them. They are invaluable. Yeah,
we've also got another member of our Hever team he's working with us as well, a lady called Magda. So you would see one of the three of us at the weekends with our trainers on, running somewhere, no doubt.
Trainers is always a better option than heels. Not heels.
Absolutely. Dignity out the window. Our volunteers are great. They start. The youngest is 11, and the oldest is 83.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
I bet the energy is amazing, isn't it? When you're all doing it, I bet it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So tell me about one of the highlights of the weekend. We've obviously had the first weekend, the opening weekend. So tell us one of the highlights of the weekend for each of you that you really enjoyed. I know it's really tricky. You want to say everyone was brilliant. All of it's amazing. So it doesn't mean that we're discounting anyone else, but your perfect highlight from the weekend.
Well, luckily we've only had one show, so we don't have to choose. It's like choosing your favourite child. You can't.
Well, that's easy. That's great. Well, that's awesome. But that went well. That went really well.
Yeah, it was 3 performances of a show called Moose on the Moon that was brought to us by Russ and Stardust, who are also a very local company. 2 ladies, Katie and Eleanor, and Katie does a lot of work with Trinity Youth Theatre. So we thought it was a lovely connection with the Moon, just so that all the kids afterwards, they watched the show, and then they made, there was a workshop afterwards where they could make their own moose. So we were kind of encouraging them to bring their mooses this weekend to the Moon.
Oh, so, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's a nice connection there. But as far as our highlights for next weekend, we don't know yet, do we?
Don't
There are no highlights. They're all highlights.
They're all highlights. Exactly. Who's this lovely fox that keeps popping up everywhere? I keep seeing it. Isn't there
Oh, he's from The Hug.
Yeah, this chap.
Yeah, he's gorgeous, isn't he? He is from The Hug, which is a show on Friday morning, 10 o'clock and 11:30, for children, basically children who aren't at school, so any age that aren't at school. And that puppetry company always work with books, so children's books. They choose a children's book. So one of theirs was Arthur's Dreamboat. Now that is a highlight of mine because I have a son called Arthur, and I first saw the show when I took my baby Arthur to it. He is now 13, so now refuses to acknowledge that he ever went there. But their puppets are really stunning, and they build them all themselves, and they have a big set behind them as well. So they're a big splash. Those ones.
They're beautiful, and I mean I can remember. Thinking that it would be a good idea to make something out of felt or I don't know, something. I thought I'd get creative. It's really hard. I mean, it's really, really, really hard. Even if they're
really skilled, aren't they?
Yeah, really. I mean, you sort of look at them and think, oh yeah, I could do that. But I can remember giving it a go, and some of them, my mouse looked very strange, and but I mean, they are just absolutely visually fabulous. I mean, I just absolutely love it. So talk to me about what you love about doing this. What's your passion about doing this? Other than, we talked about COVID a bit. You just sort of said, I mean, obviously last year couldn't do anything like this and people have been really affected. There must be a lot of energy from people now that are able to do this again this year. Is it been quite emotional getting this out there again after what we've all been through?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's very excited. Everybody's had a very quiet year. So, they are super keen to be with us, and it's been. We haven't really had the chance to get emotional about it. We're just on, full steam ahead. But it's been so good that everybody has been able to come with us on this journey, and I mean we're super excited. I must say another thing that happened this weekend, which I forgot to mention, was that Astrid Goldsmith put her exhibition for us in the we're using a unit in the Royal Victoria Place shopping centre, and we did our workshops from within there. We've got the album workshops there as well this weekend. But in the windows, you must come and visit. We've got Astrid Goldsmith from Lock the Duck Studios has decorated these windows with scenes from her animated film. So she makes model puppets and does stop motion animation films. And she made one last year. She works with the BFI a lot, and she made one called Red Rover. We've got the set from that film in one of the windows, and the set from her previous film called Quarantine in the other window. And all around, we've got 10 shops around the RVP that have also got puppets in their window from her films. So there's a little puppet trail for everybody to go and have a look at. But they are really, really special. And she's working on a feature at the moment of Red Rover. But you can see Red Rover online at the moment through our website. So once you've seen the puppets, or watch the film first, then come and see the puppets. But it's definitely worth seeing. It's only 20 minutes, is it? It's a short film.
It's 13, I think, actually. And it's free to watch, which is one of the things that this festival is really, really keen to support. Is well over half our programme is completely free to attend.
Brilliant.
So we've got things like the Lost Colour Van, which is a COVID has been born out of COVID, in that it is a puppetry show that is completely self-sufficient, can turn up anywhere, and they actually play on the roof of their van. So they are 2 metres away from anybody, even if people are getting very up close and personal to their van, they are still far enough away. So they're doing performances on Sunday at Trinity during the day. We've got lots of free events on the Pantiles on the Sunday as well. Again, throughout the day between 11 and 3:30. And then we're using the Millennium Cluck to do a lovely show, a really little show, all about a postman who loses the labels on the front of his packages, and so has to open them all up to try and work out who in the village might own the contents.
Oh, what a brilliant
idea. Yeah, sweet.
If you're a nosy, I'd quite like to do that. Open up some packages.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
That's
don't
brilliant.
Don't
yeah.
you open anything?
Oh yeah, all the time.
I do.
when is that? When's that? So the Millennium Clock. That's obviously up.
That is also on Sunday. Yeah, it's the Sunday one. It's worth actually having a look at the full programme for the Times, because one of the joys of the Puppetry Festival is we've actually, I don't know if you've seen this leaflet we've got, but on one side we've got the map here, which has on it all our venues marked out, because it hopefully will encourage people to work out their own trail that will mean that they can come to the jukeboxes, which are real live people with puppets inside jukeboxes singing songs up in the RVP during the day. And then we've obviously got what we were just talking about with special delivery outside at the Millennium Clock there. So they're all up there. And then you can go down to Calverley Park to talk about the moon, to see the moon, which we will talk about, I'm sure. And then moving on down to the Pantiles for some more free work down there. So there is a whole trail going down. We've got Trinity Youth Theatre members who will be able to walk us around it as well, won't we? They're doing a procession of their puppets they've been using in their workshops. So it's well worth having a good route of the map. Get your highlighter out and highlight the times of the shows that you want to come to, especially on the Sunday, because it will be easy to miss things. We've worked it out so that you can go everywhere and see every single show if you're really keen on puppets on Sunday, but you'd have to be quite careful in your planning.
Every single show. I mean, what time would that start and what time would that finish?
Well, if you start, if you've got your
I'm quite keen. I might do that on Sunday. I mean,
go on, do it. Do it. It starts at 11 and finishes about 3:30. So they're quite short. Quite a lot of these shows. They're not. They're no more than half an hour each. Quite a lot of them are slightly less than that. So you can do it if you want to.
And what's the most unusual place that so we've talked about the Trinity, the Millennium Clock. Is there anywhere else that we haven't mentioned that's slightly unusual where you're going to be popping up with puppets? I mean, I like the sound of the jukeboxes as well. That's very
well, we're going to the Forum, aren't we? Which is another venue that is hugely supportive of the festival, and also using the Camden Centre, which is a venue that I didn't know very well at all. Yeah. And they're really welcoming us as well. So I think that's probably it in terms of venues.
With the Pantiles as well down the other end.
Yeah.
So
anything there on the bandstand all around there? Have you got any?
We'll be on the bandstand and either side of the bandstand, so taking up the whole place.
Basically everywhere, aren't you?
We're basically everywhere. And the RVP have just been incredibly supportive of us. At the moment, we have Eli and the Golem is rehearsing in there and has been so for a month now. And then there's all sorts of free work in there. We've got our exhibitions in there and things. So they've never said no to us, which is, in fact, none of our venues have, but they are particularly big this year. So we're very lucky.
I think it's a we've talked to obviously the Fringe Festival was early on this year, and we talked to them as well, and it seems to be that the town, certainly Tunbridge Wells, we've always worked together. It's always been a great community, but everyone does seem to be more supportive of all this kind of events now, which is great, because I think after what we've been through, where we just couldn't have anything, music, theatre, anything, it's nice to see everyone sort of collaborating as much as they can and coming together, isn't it? Like you're saying, the RVP have got really behind you. That's brilliant, because because Tunbridge Wells stretches over a lot of areas. There's a lot of different pockets of areas, up and the bottom and everything. So, I mean, that's fabulous. So talk to me a bit more about the moon. I want to know about the moon. What more can you tell about the moon without giving too much away, and other than the fact that we need to find people in their houses and staying at Hotel de Van to take pictures, please?
Take pictures, please. That'd be great. Well, I think the excitement of it is that it is going to be the largest piece of public art seen in Tunbridge Wells, free to view. So, from that point of view, it's a really exciting thing to happen. It will be there between noon and 9 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and 7 till 9 on Friday. Yeah. So it's an opportunity to see it both ways. You can come during the day and see it. It will be internally lit, so it is extraordinary, beautiful, great big.
So it'll be a different experience in the evening when you come.
Yeah.
So you want to see it twice.
Yeah, at least twice. I saw it at Rochester Cathedral when it was in the cathedral, and I think I went 3 times in total because I just couldn't keep away, because it is totally mesmerising and just beautiful, just gorgeous. So
tell me about the gentleman that created the moon. Who is the artist that created the moon?
It's Luke Jerram.
Yeah.
So he also has another piece of work which is the world called Gaia, and I think he's got Mars as well. So he's working his way through the solar system.
He's going to need like a big hanger or something to keep all this working. I mean, I've got 50 cards, and that's hard enough to store, but I don't know about a moon, Mars, Gaia. That's
it's a lot, isn't it?
They're blow-up balls, though, basically, so they do pack down.
Oh, well, that's good.
So smaller, but not that small.
Yeah, but
Luke Jerram is the man who, years ago, it must be about 10 years ago, I suspect, maybe not quite that long, did the art project of taking pianos into public spaces and painting them beautifully and writing on the side, "Play me, I'm yours." Oh. And it was an opportunity for anybody in the public place to play the piano. So and quite a lot of them are obviously being put away over the last couple of years, but they will be back. Cambridge has one that's quite a famous one that is played a lot. He also did the most amazing massive water slide in the middle of a town square, and I can't remember where. It might have been Birmingham, I'm not sure, that could be wrong, but it was the longest water slide ever, and you could go down it on a lilo, if you were prepared to queue and were brave enough to do it. So he is majorly into public art and making it fun and as interesting to as many people as possible. So he's definitely a lovely addition to the festival and a great artist to watch.
I mean, yeah, and just to get people really immersed into that whole experience, isn't it? Because it's you're completely. Literally going to be like you say, seeing it during the day and then seeing it in the evening is just you can. So people can just literally go and have a look.
They literally can. You can just turn up in the park. And I think the thing that's possibly given us the most sleepless nights the entire festival though is if it's too windy.
Yeah.
And if it's too windy, we have the real luxury of the Assembly Hall Theatre are going to lend us their auditorium. And they have been just completely lovely about doing so, on board totally, sort of saying to us, "Come on, tell us when you're doing it and what you're doing." And us go, "Well, we're intending not to, but could you please just keep your auditorium free for us, just in case we need you?" And they're completely on board. So if it is too windy, rain is fine, apparently. It's wind that is our problem. And if that's the case, we'll be moving it into the Assembly Hall.
And what is the wind look? I mean, I had an entire bouncy castle village that did not go up for the second year of the soapbox. Yeah, I literally was said to the team, I was like, "Come on, a whole village of bouncy castles and just everything at the bottom of Dunallen." And the wind, we were not able to put anything up. It literally.
What did you do? Tell us what we should do.
Well, we couldn't put everything into the auditorium anywhere. That was the problem. We couldn't do anything like that. So, and it was one of those things that in the morning it was just, you're watching the reports, aren't you? And it was obviously the guys that were doing it. They were like, "We just, you can't do it," and so you just have to call it. You can't do it. So we didn't do it. We had rain. We still managed to race the carts in the rain, and like you say,
well done.
But it's the wind, isn't it? So, but that's brilliant that you've got that. It's people can still go and see this. That's the weather is not going to stop it. And is the weather looking? How is the weather looking?
It according to my phone, it looks great.
Good.
According to the weather forecast last night, the winds are picking up at the weekend, so I know which one I'm going.
You just don't know, do you? You just don't.
You've got to cross your fingers and your toes, and it's going to be brilliant. I mean, it just sounds like you obviously both enjoy this so much. Have you either of you creative in any way other than being like planners extraordinary?
I'm not at all.
She is. She's making that up. She's in her house.
I like planning things apart from that. I like doing events.
Yeah, I think that's the way both of us, to be honest. That's the way we are. Yeah.
And what do you love the most about planning and doing events, other than sort of working together, which you clearly quite like doing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We'll miss each other when it's...
Yeah. Our husbands might recognise us again. I don't know. Do you know, for me, the thing about all of this, and going back to what you were saying about how we haven't had many opportunities to see anything in the arts recently, is that, and we did this last summer, so obviously we did a whole season of theatre events at Hever this year, but we did actually manage in that August. Do you remember we were all sort of allowed to be a bit freer last August, and we all managed, didn't we, to try and programme a few events, and we did that at Hever, and the thing that I've noticed more than anything else for all these audiences is the joy. And it's just, people are not only enjoying the experience of coming to a theatre event or a theatrical event of some sort, but the joy of being out and being sociable and doing something, I hate that word now we all loathe it, don't we, normal, but being able to do the things we used to do. There was a time where we really thought we may not be able to again, didn't we, without wishing to sound too dramatic. And I think that is what is the loveliest thing about the events we just had this weekend. You can sell out all you like and have a great show, brilliant, exactly what we need, but it's just the pleasure in people saying, I've really enjoyed coming out, it's lovely to do something creative, and to do it as a collective is
and over half the shows are outside, so if anybody is a bit nervous about being in a theatre again, there's something for them to come and see as well. So we don't want to stop anyone from coming out and enjoying themselves.
Except if they really don't want to, they can stay in and watch our online films as well. Yes. So we really have tried to cover it from all angles.
You really have. I mean, I think, it'd be great next year to come and join you with you and talk to some of the acts. I'd love to do that. And come
please.
We're starting to do more of that now, sort of do road shows and go out and actually see people. It's great because it's just so interesting to talk to all the different, there's just so much variety, and I think we all have a much deeper, better appreciation of everything in general, really. I think that's
we do, don't we?
One of the gifts that we got. There were a few, weren't there? And I'd certainly say that was one of them. What about you, Alison? What do you love about doing it the most? Is it the same as Ailsa there? Is it just the...
Yeah, pretty much. It's just seeing everybody, all ages. I mean, there's no restrictions on this festival whatsoever. I mean, there are a couple of shows that we've said a recommended age is from 8+ or 10+, just because of the understanding of the content. But it's just, there is a real mix, and it's just lovely. When we saw the programme all together, we're just really thrilled. We just really hope that everybody comes out, supports us, and we can give them some enjoyment. And just get back to some normality.
I can't wait. I've got both my children at the weekend. I'm going to come down and have a look. For anyone so obviously the best place to go is the website. Let me know the website.
twpuppetryfestival.org.
So anyone can get on there. They can have. And what about socials? You're on all your social stuff. I'm sure people can follow you on there, see what people are up to. Is there a lot going on there as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We're posting all the time. So we're TW Puppetry Festival on Facebook and TW Puppetry Fest on Twitter and Insta.
Well, I mean, you've probably got things to do today, haven't you?
Got a long list.
Not much to do. Just going to go and have a cup of tea now and chill out on a morning. No, I don't think so. Well, I'm going to definitely come down at the weekend and find one of you or both of you, and I'm definitely going to find them without a shadow.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends. Tell your kids' friends.
Well, I think everyone knows it's going on, which is great. I think everyone, certainly that I've spoken to, it's everyone knows it's going on, and that's the nice thing with Tunbridge Wells. People talk about what's going on. So yeah, I'm sure like you say, you've got a lot of support already with what you're doing. So I imagine it's going to be very busy, and I think the wind will be fine.
Yeah, it definitely will.
I've got a good feeling.
That's what I'm going with.
I think I might book a hotel divan and just get one of those.
Yes.
That's what I like doing, and watching the moon from that and getting some stuff like that. But it's been so nice to talk to you both this morning. Thank you for coming and having a chat with us. And best of luck with it all as it continues. And by the time this comes out, obviously it'll be well underway. And, you know, people have been able to see the moon in all its glory and see more of it. So really excited for you both. And have a good
Thanks for having us on.
week. Yeah. No, you're very, very welcome. And the dog made an appearance.
Sorry.
All right. I thought he was going to come on screen. I was quite excited about it. He's very dog friendly. Yeah, we could have got him some earphones and everything. You know, making all sorts. But have a wonderful day, both of you. Thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we can't wait to hear all about it and how well it's gone.
Lovely. And we look forward to seeing you at the weekend.
We'll see you there.
You will do. You will do. All right. Take care, ladies.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.